beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the latest ColourPop release. This is already available on their website. It did release last week. It just got to me a little bit later than usual, and I just had one of those weekends where things just couldn't get done on time. You know what I mean? Does that ever happen to you? But we are here today with a full video. I'm going to show you close-ups, swatches, some palette comparisons. I'm going to give you the prices, the whole 9 yards. The only thing I can't give you is any insight into how well these products fit the theme. I've never watched this show, and I've often relied on my 8-year-old child to be my resident expert for the Star Wars collections. He's a huge Mandalorian fan. And the Avatar, the Last Airbender 2 collections that came out, he was absolutely my resident expert. And I've actually watched quite a bit of Avatar with my kiddo. I honestly really enjoy the show, but he just hasn't made his way to Naruto yet. So I don't have any frame of reference for the show for how relevant these products are. But I have seen a lot of fans of the show expressing their disappointment online. Obviously, there are opinions all over the place when it comes to that. Personally, I just can't really lend anything to that conversation, but I do want to give you my ColourPop expertise, my makeup reviewing, makeup swatching expertise. I feel like I can still lend something to the conversation there. So I do want to give you a close-up look at this entire collection. I don't think this is going to be available at Ulta. This is limited edition. I do think it's going to be exclusive to the ColourPop site. Now, the collection's been out for a few days, and I think most everything is still in stock. Maybe just the lip oil is out of stock. I don't know if this is the type of thing that will get a small restock or not. I don't have any insight to that at all. But I will remind you that you can use my affiliate code. It's just my first name, Amanda, and that will save you 10% on the individual items. None of the sets will take the code. They stopped using coupon codes for sets and vaults earlier this year, I believe. So unfortunately, if you're getting the full collection set, you can't use any coupon codes. But if you just want to pick up 1 or 2 individual items, you can use affiliate codes for that. Huge shout out to everyone who uses my code. It's a great way to support the channel. I genuinely really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody who chooses to do that or to shop through my affiliate links. It makes a big difference. I know it probably doesn't seem like it does. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get into the actual products, starting with the Luxe Lip Oil. This is priced at $11 US, and it does have special packaging on the outer carton as well as on the actual tube of lip oil itself. This Luxe Lip Oil has the exact same components, same applicator, same formula, same scent as all of the other Luxe Lip Oils in the line. This one does have a little bit more of a tint to it than most of the lip oils have in my experience, but it's not a crazy amount of pigmentation. It's not really going to stick around for a long time, but it's a lip oil, so I'm sure that you're not really expecting a longevity out of a lip oil. One thing I noticed is that there's a lot of orange on the packaging, but there's not really any orange in any of the makeup products. That surprised me. We'll talk about that a little bit more later when we get to the Super Shock shadows. For now, let's move on to the Glitterly Obsessed Glitter Gel. This is priced at $12. This is a very chunky true gold glitter with a bunch of iridescent smaller glitters throughout. A couple of reminders for you with these Glitterly Obsessed glitter gels. First of all, there is a stopper inside. Definitely keep that stopper and store it with that little stopper inside the lid to keep your glitter gel from drying out. And another reminder that this product is not formulated for use on or around the eyes. This is a body glitter. You can use it in your hair. You could even use it on your face, but this is not made or formulated or safe for use on the eyes. Especially important to keep in mind if you are going to give this to, gift this to, buy this for somebody who is younger and may not be as aware of eye safety or makeup safety protocols. Just a reminder. Now let's move on to the BFF Cream Gel Liners. These are priced at $9 a piece. We have 3 different shades here. This is when I first started to notice the discrepancy with the orange packaging, because we do have a liner that's in an orange box, but the liner itself is like a bronzy brown shade, and the other 2 liners, the blue and the pink, are packaged more according to the actual shade that they are. We're going to see the same thing with the orange packaged Super Shock shadow as well. Like I said, am not even a big fan of the show. I just haven't watched it. And even from a completely outsider perspective, that just seems a little bit weird to me. It seems like orange is such a prominent color in the packaging, in the images that I've seen from the show, and none of the products are orange. I don't understand that. I feel like they could have really gone hard for that bright orange and really set this collection apart from other collaborations that they've done recently. I don't have any qualms with them doing one super wearable option in a set of 3 eyeliners. I just think that they should have gone for the orange and maybe done a white or a silver or a gold or something for one of the other 2 colors. I don't know, maybe I'm off base, maybe I'm totally misinterpreting the show just based on this very surface level packaging and research that I've done, but we're gonna see it again here. Our title character has the orange packaging on the Super Shock shadow. There are 3 different characters represented here, and each Super Shock is priced at $9 a piece. These all are the Ultra Glitter finish. So they are quite sparkly, but these are not glittery in a chunky way like that would make it not safe for use on the eyes. These are also all tie-dye Super Shocks, so every single one is going to look a little bit different. I took some video of these before I swatched them so you can see what they look like in their undisturbed state, but they do sort of swirl all together and give a midpoint type of color between all of the different tones you see represented in the tie-dye. Now, this orange packaged Super Shock, I think you can tell just by looking at the tie-dye print in the pan here that it is very yellow. There is some orange happening. There's some whispers of orange, some suggestions of orange, but when this is all swirled together and applied to the skin, it reads very yellow. It reads taxi cab, very yellow. It does not read orange to me. Maybe yours performs differently. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me, but this is a yellow color. So I'm really confused why there's no orange here. I do like the amount of sparkle in here, though. I think these are going to be really pretty when they're applied to the eye, but you may want to use a tacky primer, glitter glue, or something to really keep those sparkles in place all day. Lastly, let's talk about the Naruto palette. This is priced at $24 US. It is a 15 pan palette. I like the different textures and foiled elements on the packaging. It definitely feels very stylized, but it doesn't feel super cheesy, like just slapped on the characters onto the front. So I like this packaging, obviously from a completely outsider perspective, so maybe it's not representative of the show, but I do think it looks nice. We have the shade names and all the ingredients listed on the back of the outer sleeve. This is a sleeve that the palette slides out of, and it's the exact same artwork front and back, but on the back there's no ingredients list. So if you are interested in that, make sure you hang on to the sleeve that the palette slides out of. When we open up inside, there is no mirror. We just have an image of 3 characters. Again, tons of this bright orangey shade all throughout the packaging. And then when we look at the shades in the palette, there's like an orangey bronze in the center there, but it barely even reads as an orange color. Like I said, this is a totally pedestrian interpretation, but just based on the packaging alone, I think they should have dropped a lot of these very neutral supporting colors and really gone with a high contrast, saturated, orange and blue, heavy, very striking, unique color combination. I just think that the fans probably would have been a lot happier with something that was more high contrast and just more of a punch of color with a really bold, unique color story. I think I need to do some research on the show and make my own build your own palette inspired by the show, because I just feel like there's definitely a much more striking take that could have happened for this particular palette. And it's a useful palette. It seems like a lot of people are going to be able to use it and find a lot of different color combos they like, but it just does feel a little lackluster. It feels a little generic, maybe, is what I'm getting at. Now, this blue shade on the end of the swatches here is one of their pearlescent glitters, so their new version of the pressed glitter. There is one in here. Otherwise, I think the only other shades of note appear in this second set of swatches. The Hidden Mist Village shade is so disappointing because it does look like this beautiful, rich, foresty teal type of color, but brush and finger swatches were just very lacking for me, especially compared to the other matte shades that are next to it. It was kind of a bummer. Now let's move on to some comparisons. A lot of people have been saying that this is too similar to the Avatar palettes. I definitely see why this comparison comes to mind. We obviously have some similar ideas happening here, even if there aren't a ton of one-to-one exact shade dupes, but pretty similar. I also wanted to pull out my Legend of Korra palette, and I think this is another one where the idea is similar, but the shades aren't so much overlapping. Legend of Korra is definitely brighter, bolder, and in general seems to be more consistently performing for me. Plus, I like that the Legend of Korra palette doesn't have a glitter. However, the absolute best comparison that I have in my collection is my beloved It's a Mood palette. This one does so much heavy lifting for my comparisons in so many different videos. If you look at the last half of the palette here, a lot of these shades, save that kind of sagey green, are exactly the same, but my It's a Mood palette outperforms them tenfold. So in general, I see why people feel like this palette is a little too generic. I personally find that it's not hitting the right marks because it's lacking this contrasty, bold, navy blue and bright orange color story that the packaging is giving me. So I see why people are disappointed. Overall, my personal favorite thing from the collection are the Super Shock shadows. That's just based on somebody who has no nostalgic connection to this. However, I obviously understand the emotional connection that some folks might feel to this. That's the way I felt about the Hocus Pocus collection. So, as usual, absolutely no judgment coming from me, no matter how you feel about this. I would love to hear your thoughts, particularly if you are a Naruto fan, because like I said, I just don't have the education as far as this show goes, but I would love to hear all your thoughts. Leave them down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. And I love your cutie little face. Okay, bye!